punters, we're back. So this is what's happened. I've bought another share in a yearling, so that's 2 for this year. It's a little bit unexpected. I squirrel all my money away all year, and I save and save and save. Any win I get on the punt, I put away in a separate horse account, basically in hopes that when the sales roll around at the start of the year, I've got enough money in that account to be able to buy a 1% share in a yearling. So I did that this year, and that 1% went on the Hellbent Colt that we bought at English Classic in Sydney. So this year I actually saved up more than 1%. I saved nearly about enough for 2%. But what happened was the day that the English Classic started in Sydney, my dog, I got 2 dogs. I got a Labrador and a Golden Retriever. The Golden Retriever got really sick over that weekend, and at the same time, well, pretty much at exactly the same time that we bought the Hellbent Colt, I was at the vet emergency with my Golden Retriever, and they were telling me he likely needed surgery on his intestines to remove an obstruction, and that was going to cost me roughly 10 grand. I left the emergency centre at the vet with my dog there, basically waiting on x-rays, and my brother texted me and said, we just bought a Hellbent Colt, 160 grand. And I said, I'm in big trouble. I don't have any money. My dog's sick and I need to get him fixed. It's going to cost me 10 grand. So what happened after that is I did a bit of research on the weekend while my dog was in the emergency centre getting x-rays, and I found that there was a couple other options with vets over the other side of the city. So I went and picked my dog up, got the x-rays, told him thanks very much, but I'm taking him somewhere else, and I took him over to a vet in Cheltenham, who saw to him straight away, and they basically said, no, we can do intestinal surgery. He'd swallowed a corn cob, and it needed to be removed, but it was only going to cost me 4 grand. So I rang my brother and said, I'm in for the Hellbent, and I took my 1% share and gave that to my brother, and I took the other 1% pretty much that I saved and put it in our savings account, in our joint savings account with my partner, because we're currently expecting our second child in July, and she's going to be on maternity leave soon, so the more money that we have in savings the better, because we might be doing it tough for a year or so. So that was that. I got my Hellbent Colt, we made the video, all good. So then I'm at work, Melbourne Premier rolls around. I wasn't paying any attention because I didn't think there was any intention to do anything there. And my brother rang me at work and he said, our trainer has bought a Churchill Colt for $180,000. And so Churchill to me is the son of Galileo, which is basically what I look for every sale. Every sale catalogue comes out and I kind of filter it by Galileos to see if I can pick up a yearling by the son of a Galileo or a Galileo mare or something similar, because obviously I can't afford Galileo. But I'm a bit of a Galileo fanboy, so that was always the dream, to pick up something with Galileo in the grandsire, either of the mare or of the sire himself. So I was put in a pretty tough position. 180,000 was the highest price we've paid for a yearling, so I knew that was going to cost me at least $1,800, which is pretty much what I gave to my missus after the dog. And I said to my brother, we're just going to have to make it happen. We're not going to get this opportunity again. It's too good to pass up. And he was on the same page. He said, yeah, let's make it happen somehow. So we did a few ringing around, got a few blokes in, basically committed to taking a 5% share. I text my missus, and she's pretty good, to be honest. Like she's up there. I text her. I said, I got some good news and some bad news. She goes, what's the good news? I said, good news is that our trainer's bought another horse. And she goes, what's the bad news? I said, I don't have any money. And she goes, well, you gave us some money for the dog. Didn't you? That was out of your horse savings account. I said, yeah, I did. But, you know, what do you reckon? I don't really want to take it out if it's going to hurt us. And she said, well, it's your money, so you can do what you want with it. And I didn't want to regret passing up the opportunity, and I don't think she wanted me to regret that. So we made the agreement that I would take the money back out of the savings account, and I'd commit to this Churchill Colt. So yeah, that's the background story of how I've ended up in this Churchill Colt. So I've actually had to take a 1.5% share because when you're buying horses every year, and I mean this year now we've bought 2 yearlings, and the year before we bought 2 yearlings, it's starting to get lean for the amount of investors we've got to help us out trying to get the 5% share. So we've gone in pretty lean this year, and I've had to take a 1.5% share, which is like fair enough. Some of the boys in the syndicate that we're in have been taking bigger shares all the time, and I've been taking the 1% over and over and over again. So I've kind of gone out on a limb with a 1.5% share, but at the end of the day, money's money, so we'll make it back. At the end of the day, I could just sell my house and move back in with mum and dad, I guess. Live in a tent. I could probably handle that. I don't know how the missus would go. But yeah, so that's the background story. So I just want to give you a bit of a background. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this one because obviously I love this one. Churchill Colt, by basically the best sire in the world in Galileo. So yeah, the Colt that we've bought is a $180,000 purchase. It's a Churchill by, the mare's name is Queen's Kiss. Churchill is the son of a breed shaper in Galileo. When I say a breed shaper is not just an everyday stallion. There's stallions throughout history that have been the most successful for their generation, and they've shaped the future of stallions from that point on. And because of this, you can see these stallions pop up in pedigree pages of yearlings frequently and consistently. So there's certain stallions through history that just, if you look through any pedigree page, you'll be able to trace these lines back to common horses. So Galileo is and will be one of those horses through history. Churchill is regally bred, so it's not just a case of a Galileo going to any old thing. Churchill is the joining of 2 really strong stallion lines. So Churchill's mum was a horse called Meow, who is the daughter of a stallion called Stormcat. So I just want to give you a bit of a background on Galileo. Galileo is the best sire on the planet. Galileo was the leading sire of Britain and Ireland in 2008 and every year between 2010 and 2019. Since 2008, his stud fee has been unknown. That basically means that you apply to have your mare covered by Galileo, and then they decide if he will cover your mare and what the price is going to be, and you can negotiate that. The rumours are that his stud fee is or could be as high as €600,000. Galileo has sired 89 individual Group 1 winners, and he goes at a strike rate of about 17% stakes winners to runners. Some of the horses that Galileo has sired, I've got a list here. So these are the names that are on Galileo's progeny list: Frankel, Australia, Glen Eagles, the Gurkha, Anthony Van Dyke, Minding, Churchill, New Approach, Rip Van Winkle, Teofilo, Adelaide, Magician, Highland Reel, and Volgeist. And there's many, many more, but that's just a highlight reel of, Galileo's progeny. So Galileo's sire line, and also the sire line of, the dam sire line of Meow, are just breed shaper after breed shaper. So just to give you an idea, Galileo's sire is the great Sadler's Wells, who in himself is a breed shaper. Sadler's Wells is out of another breed shaper in Northern Dancer. Northern Dancer is out of another breed shaper in the Arctic. Now, if we take a look at the dam side, Churchill's mum was a mare named Meow. Meow's sire was a stallion named Stormcat. Now, Stormcat was an American stallion and also a breed shaper. His service fee at his prime between 2002 and 2007 was $500,000 US. Stormcat had a strong dam line. Stormcat's mum, Tilingwa, was the daughter of the famous Triple Crown winner Secretariat. And Secretariat was again by a US breed shaper in Bold Ruler. Bold Ruler was by Nasrullah, who was by Nyako. Churchill himself is a 4-time Group 1 winner. He's the fastest son of Galileo. He won 5 races in a row in his 2-year-old year, 2 of those being Group 1s. Churchill then returned in his 3-year-old year and won the English 2000 Guineas and the Irish 2000 Guineas. Queen's Kiss, the dam, won 4 races between 1100 and 1250 metres. She's the dam of 6 foals, 5 winners, and her best progeny being Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble had 8 wins between 1250 and 1800 metres and won $570,000 in prize money. Another highlight of this yearling is that it came out of Mill Park stud. So I've never really paid much attention to which stud the yearlings come out of, but I'm starting to get a feeling that there's definitely track record there. Good studs just seem to keep producing good horses. So I've never heard of Mill Park stud until this, and I did some investigation, but it's showing that it's a really positive thing. Mill Park stud have an outstanding record with yearlings. So they're a South Australian based stud. They've obviously brought this horse over for the Melbourne Premier Sale. I just want to read out a list of some of the horses that Mill Park stud have produced in recent times. So some of the horses that Mill Park have produced recently is Warning, Happy Trails, Rebel Raider, Faulkner, Mummify, Booker, Away Game, Peltzer, Instant Celebrity, Dalasan, Dawn Passage, Ecumenical, and the list just literally goes on and on. So the yearling that were bought by Churchill is just an unbelievable type, beautiful looking colt. We think that he's got a little bit more of development to come as well. We think that he could make a 2-year-old, but hopefully we're looking at a 3-year-old miler aimed at the Guineas. So to get into this colt, my 1.5% share cost me $3,200.
At the Melbourne Premier Yearling Sale. We've bought this Churchill Colt out of the Queen's Kiss, bred at Mill Park. Fantastic producers of horses. The mare's had 5 winners so far, 6 to race. Got a really good record, this mare, and coming off this farm. First season sire in Churchill, son of Galileo, Sharpo Galileo. This horse looks like he's going to be a 3-year-old, but going to be aimed at sort of races at a mile for 2,000. I think he's very much a quality colt, and very happy to purchase off Mill Park. They're terrific breeders, and yeah, their record speaks for itself. Get in touch with the stable to become involved with him.
Coolmore globally are renowned for their magnificent stallions and some fabulous names, and there aren't too many better than Churchill, a champion 2-year-old and a dual 2000 guineas winner at 3. He presents as a son of Galileo, a fabulous opportunity for anyone with a broodmare carrying the blood of Danehill. It's just been fabulous for so many years watching the legacy of Coolmore in Ireland, you know, through from Sadler's Wells, Galileo, High Chaparral, Montjeu, there are so many. And I always love seeing a son of Galileo come to Australia and get a great chance. Now Churchill, he's a little bit different to some of the rest, isn't he, as such a gun 2-year-old?
Yeah, he was a brilliant 2-year-old, but he's a great addition to our roster here at the moment. He was a real speed son of Galileo, a fantastic 2-year-old. He's probably got one of the fastest pedigrees we've ever shuttled to Australia. He won 5 stakes races in a row at 2, including 2 Group 1s. He came out at 3, won the English 2000 guineas first time out, won the Irish equivalent 2 weeks later, and was crowned champion 3-year-old as well.
Clemmy pulls a length clear, and the full sister to Churchill will go on and win the Cheveley Park.
He is just the best of the best, isn't he, of what John Magnier has been doing for so long at Coolmore, particularly in Ireland and here in Australia. But, you know, we have Galileo, then we have his mother, Meow, stakes winner, broodmare of the year. Clemmy, a champion filly, won the Cheveley Park, as did her mother in Airwave. I mean, this is a family that's been developed for a long time by John Magnier and the Coolmore team.
Yeah, well, this fellow was bred to be a champion racehorse, but really, as you've just said, he was designed a long way out to be a champion sire. I remember the exploits of Airwave very well. She was a brilliant champion 2-year-old filly in Britain. She was champion 3-year-old filly in Britain. She's a sister to a champion sprinter in Britain. We were lucky enough to purchase her when she came off the track. We sent her to Stormcat. We bred Meow. Meow had 5 starts as a 2-year-old, had enormous speed. She was a stakes winning 2-year-old. She ran second in the Queen Mary at Royal Ascot. We bred her into to Galileo, and her second foal was Churchill, a European champion.
Churchill leads there with 150 yards left to go.
Well, I mean, as you said, what he did as a 2-year-old, you know, winning some of those, you know, they are the main races. And again, we talk about stallion making races, the National Stakes, the Dewhurst. You know, they are the ultimate 2-year-old races in Europe.
Yeah, well, he broke his maiden at Royal Ascot. He's the only son of Galileo to ever win a stakes race at 2 at Royal Ascot. He broke his maiden in the Chesham Stakes. He went back to Ireland, won a couple of group races. Then we ran him in Ireland's premier Group 1 race over 7 furlongs, the National Stakes, which he won easily. He went from there to England's premier 2-year-old event, the Dewhurst, which he won very well. He ran a faster time that day than Frankel and Teofilio, 2 leading sires of the world now. And he was just very, very impressive and was sent away as the winter favourite for the 2000 guineas.
Well, the Dewhurst winner leads the Guineas field up the hill.
It's very rare you get a horse to win the English 2000 guineas or the English Derby or even the Irish Derby with a serious pedigree. And this fella has won one of the biggest English classics. He's got a pedigree to die for, a speed pedigree to die for. And it was great that he was able to do that first up as a 3-year-old, and 2 weeks later won the Irish equivalent. He ended up winning 7 stakes races in a row at that stage. He won 4 Group 1s in a row, and obviously champion 2-year-old and champion 3-year-old. And at that stage he had a time form rating of 126, which is, there was no 3-year-old in Australia last year had a time form rating higher than that.
And Galileo, I mean, we know he is just the world's best, really.
He's proven to be a great sire of sires, but 12 of his sons have now produced 43 Group 1 winners. That's individual Group 1 winners all over the world, which is phenomenal. He's the sire of 72 Group 1 winners himself. Like, he's going to end up with over 100 stakes, 100 Group 1 winners in his career, which is unheard of. He's had 19 Group 1 winning 2-year-olds. You know, he'd put a lot of stallions to shame down here with his 2-year-old form. He's just sensational. 19 Group 1 winning 2-year-olds already. In the Southern Hemisphere, he's had 9 Group 1 winners. A lot of people wouldn't believe that if you mentioned it to them. 9 Group 1 winning horses here in the Southern Hemisphere. They've won 37 races between them. We all know our own Adelaide in the barn here. He won the Cox Plate first time out here in Australia. He's running on, Galileo's running on 9% group winners to runners in the Southern Hemisphere and 14% stakes winners to runners. He's just a phenomenal down here. And it's great now that we've got his best son and his fastest son here in Australia at Coolmore.
He's quite leggy. I mean, he has the longer leg. You know, often you can see little short, squat, sort of speedy horses, but he has a little bit of scope there too. He's a little bit different to some of the Galileos.
Yeah, he's got very good size and strength and scope. He's got a lot of Stormcat in him. Looking at him, he's got a lot more physique than most Galileos. He's a big hip on him, big gaskin on him. He was a very sound horse. He was a very uncomplicated horse. He did everything effortlessly in his work. I had a long chat to Aidan O'Brien in March about him. And he's a huge fan and obviously supported him with a huge amount of broodmares in his first season, which is great. I mean, he had a great airway. He was able to breed really well, and it's a very important thing now in a stallion. Dane Hill and all his daughters are crying out now for a stallion. We have 2 stallions here already, proven ones with So You Think and Piero doing very well with Dane Hill line mares. Galileo has produced 31 Group 1 winners out of Dane Hill line mares. So anybody with a Dane Hill line mare, the evidence is there, the proof is there. They should seriously be thinking about a Galileo line sire for them. High Chaparral was a Group 1 winning 2-year-old, and you know, there's been some great Derby and Classic winners work really well here, but they had to have the pedigree, like Monjeur, High Chaparral, as even Galileo himself. And even before that, horses like Nijinsky and Mill Reef were outstanding sires and European Classic winners. Camelot is another example. If these horses have the pedigrees that we really desire and they win those classic races, they generally turn out to be really, really good stallions.